Yeah, what is this, Romeo and Juliet?
Jake, I tried to get a hold of you.
Stick around, sweetie. The party's just starting.
Jake, we don't want no trouble.
Neither do we, Fadden. We just want our money.
I tried to collect.
I think he's trying to sell our blow on credit.
And he don't have our money.
You tell him. You got our money, right?
Maybe tomorrow, Jake.
I think he's holding out on us, Jake.
Huh? Wait, let's check out his girl.
Hey, Jake.
Can't find anything here.
Give me the money, Jake.
You know, I really like this guy.
How you doing, man?
Hey,
It's good to see you.
you been doing some of our blow, huh?
And I got your money, Jake.
I want the blow and the money here in 1 hour. You got that?
I got it, Jake.
Douchebag.
Get the hell back to class. Who the fuck is this asshole?
Hey, he's sick, man.
Bring him home.
I don't want to see any of you guys around my schoolyard.
Oh, man, who the fuck are you? The principal?
That's right.
Now, why don't you take your faggot asses out of here before I feed him to the cops?
The film opens with an enjoyable girls' night out, featuring a group of high school girls exploring the city. Among them is Brenda, a rebellious student, who is spending time with her friends on Hollywood Boulevard. This group is known as the Satins, and they are accompanied by Brenda's younger sister, Heather, who is both innocent and unable to hear or speak. Following the death of their father, Brenda has taken on a protective role over Heather. As they stroll and converse, the girls discuss their friend Francine's upcoming wedding, sharing in the excitement of this significant milestone. In contrast, a reckless gang known as the Scars, led by their leader Jake, is also present in the area. This group consists of 4 young men involved in drug dealing and who disregard societal rules. While driving through the streets in Jake's flashy convertible, they notice Brenda and her friends. Jake decides to pursue them for amusement, and in the process, nearly collides with the girls at a street corner, causing Heather to fall to the ground in fear due to her inability to hear or speak. Realizing his error, Jake offers an apology but attempts to charm Brenda into spending time with him. However, Brenda firmly declines, expressing her disinterest in him and his companions. Subsequently, the girls devise a daring plan to steal Jake's convertible while the gang is distracted. Filled with a mix of excitement and apprehension, they successfully take the car and drive away, laughing as they go. They fill the convertible with trash, including old garbage bags and fast food wrappers, creating a significant mess before abandoning it in the middle of the street, feeling a sense of accomplishment from their act of revenge. Embarrassed and angered by the incident, the boys begin plotting their retaliation against Brenda and her friends. One day, while Jake and his gang are loitering around the school, they create trouble by harassing a student to assert their dominance. Their disruptive behavior is interrupted when the school principal arrives, warning them to leave or face police involvement. Reluctantly, Jake and his gang retreat, but it is evident that their plans for revenge are far from over. Meanwhile, inside the school gym, the girls are engaged in a physical training session with their instructor. Their focus shifts when a boy named Wes arrives and attempts to flirt with Brenda. At that moment, Wes's girlfriend, Cindy, enters the gym and immediately becomes furious upon seeing Wes interacting with Brenda. Misinterpreting Brenda's lack of enthusiasm as interest, Cindy accuses her of trying to steal Wes away. As the girls conclude their physical training, the group begins to make their way to the locker room. However, Brenda lingers for a moment. She pauses upon spotting her younger sister, Heather, who has just arrived at the school to see her. Heather, with a warm smile, presents Brenda with a small gift. Brenda embraces Heather affectionately and expresses her gratitude, clearly moved by her sister's thoughtfulness. Brenda then kindly asks Heather to wait for her while she takes a quick shower. As the other girls exit the gym and the atmosphere grows quieter, Red, a member of the gang, appears. Observing Heather's innocent demeanor, Red decides to approach her. Unaware of Red's true intentions, Heather, being trusting and friendly, begins to communicate with him using sign language. At first, Red plays along, but soon his real intentions show. He starts getting too close to Heather, trying to get physically intimate with her. Heather, realizing something is wrong, becomes scared. She quickly pushes him away and runs toward the door, desperate to escape. Before she can get far, Jake, Fargo, and Vince appear, blocking her way. They surround her, making it impossible for Heather to get out. Terrified and helpless, Heather tries to fight back, but the gang overpowers her. They drag her inside, and in a horrific act of cruelty, they beat her and physically assault her, leaving Heather in immense pain and fear. In the locker room, tensions between Cindy and Brenda escalate once again. Cindy, still upset about Wes, confronts Brenda, leading to a heated argument between the two. They are subsequently called in by the principal, who delivers a stern warning that any further altercations will result in suspension from school. Acknowledging the gravity of the situation, both girls agree to cease their conflict, although the underlying tension remains unresolved. After their meeting with the principal, Brenda and her friends set out to find Heather, who was expected to be waiting in the auditorium. However, upon arrival, they discover that Heather is missing. Just as anxiety begins to rise, one of the girls accidentally enters the locker room and finds Heather lying unconscious on the floor in a distressed state. They immediately call for assistance and transport Heather to the hospital, where the doctor informs them that she has fallen into a coma due to severe trauma. Brenda and her mother are devastated, struggling to comprehend the situation. Determined to seek justice for her sister, Brenda vows to uncover the truth behind what happened. To spread fear across the neighborhood, Jake and his ruthless crew stop a young couple in the middle of the street and, after violently intimidating them, go as far as forcibly undressing the girl, turning the encounter into a cruel and degrading display of public humiliation. Later that evening, in an effort to uplift Brenda's spirits, the girls decide to visit a local disco. They engage in dancing and conversation, attempting to provide her with some comfort. After a while, Francine steps away to use the restroom. During her absence, the Scars gang enters the disco and takes a seat at a nearby table, still harboring anger and looking for trouble. Upon Francine's return from the restroom, Fargo notices her and begins to harass her, disregarding the fact that she is pregnant. A confrontation quickly ensues. Amidst the chaos, Francine manages to injure Jake's face, freeing herself from Fargo's grasp. Witnessing Francine's resilience inspires the other girls to join the fray, and together they confront the gang. Realizing they are outmatched, the members of the Scars decide to withdraw from the disco. The following day, Brenda finds herself in class but is preoccupied with thoughts of the individuals who harmed her sister, Heather, rendering her disengaged from the lesson. Her teacher, Miss Young, notices Brenda's distress and approaches her with concern, offering to discuss any issues she may be facing or provide assistance. However, Brenda, still feeling hurt and withdrawn, curtly replies that she has nothing to discuss and exits the classroom. The next day, during class, Cindy, fixated on Brenda's relationship with her ex-boyfriend, begins to taunt her with derogatory remarks in an attempt to provoke a reaction. Cindy crosses a line by making a particularly offensive comment about Heather, leading to a confrontation between the two girls. They are subsequently summoned by the principal, who has reached his limit with their ongoing disputes. Rather than issuing another warning, he suspends both Brenda and Cindy from school in hopes of imparting a lesson. Meanwhile, Jake, still seething from the injury inflicted by Francine, begins to plot his revenge. Vince recalls that Francine frequently spends time with her friends and suggests that Jake could potentially confront her after school. Meanwhile, Francine visits a store to check on her wedding dress. Lost in thoughts about her upcoming wedding, she remains unaware that the Scars are nearby, observing her movements. As Francine exits the store, she suddenly realizes that she is being followed by the gang. They pursue her through an industrial area filled with abandoned buildings and dark alleys. In a desperate attempt to find refuge, Francine runs as fast as she can but soon finds herself cornered by the boys. In a moment of shocking violence, Jake lifts her and throws her off a viaduct that spans the Los Angeles River. This brutal act leaves Vince, a member of the Scars, in a state of profound shock and remorse. Horrified by Jake's actions, he comes to a stark realization about the gravity of their choices. Overwhelmed with guilt, Vince resolves to sever ties with the Scars, feeling that he can no longer associate himself with such cruelty. Later, he visits the hospital to see Heather. He enters her room, where she lies in a coma, and quietly expresses his apologies, conveying his remorse for the events that have transpired. At that moment, Brenda arrives at the hospital room and overhears Vince's words. Acting impulsively, she pushes him against the wall, demanding to know what he has done. He manages to break free and flees down the hallway. Determined to track down the gang, Brenda corners Vince and presses a knife against his neck, forcing him to confess that Jake and his crew are hiding out at their usual spot after brutally attacking her sister and terrorizing the neighborhood. Terrified, Vince reveals everything he knows, giving Brenda the lead she needs to begin her revenge. Later that night, an infuriated Brenda visits a weapons store, purchasing a crossbow and several bear traps. She then heads to a sparsely populated area of the city, where she discovers the Scars near an abandoned textile warehouse. Meanwhile, Jake grows suspicious of Vince, fearing he might disclose information to others. Consequently, he resolves to eliminate him. He instructs Fargo and Red to remain at the warehouse while he pursues Vince. Jake finds Vince taking out a loan from a friend and strikes him with his car, resulting in Vince's death as Jake escapes with the money. Meanwhile, Brenda arrives at the warehouse and taunts Fargo and Red, luring them inside. She kills Fargo by shooting him through the neck with her crossbow and then dispatches Red by snapping a bear trap over his throat. Upon returning, Jake discovers the bodies of Fargo and Red in the warehouse. He attempts to shoot Brenda with a pistol, but she incapacitates him by shooting him with her crossbow and ensnares him with a rope around his ankles, leaving him hanging upside down. Brenda then tortures the defenseless Jake with a hunting knife, but he manages to free himself and retaliates. She manages to plunge a knife into his stomach and flee. Jake ultimately gets back to his feet and pursues Brenda. He pursues her, cornering her inside a paint store. Brenda douses Jake with flammable paint before igniting it, causing him to stumble out of the store engulfed in flames as the police arrive, leading to his demise. Some time later, Brenda, Heather, and the surviving members of the Satins visit Francine's grave. Brenda reflects on their actions by saying they have made things right, to which Stevie replies, "No, Brenda, you made things right." Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.